Hi, everyone. I'm here today to talk a little bit about 21st century learning and what I've kind of gotten so far from all of the research that I've done and kind of synthesized throughout the past week or so. So, here we have an overview of kind of what I'm going to get into. So, there are definitions and aspects of 21st century learning. We have research from Punya Mishra and Kristen Karaluk on the 21st century learning. We have components of 21st century learning in TPAC, and then I'll also get into 21st century learning in the classroom. So, for an introduction, we kind of have to ask the big question first of what is 21st century learning? Well, quite frankly, nobody really agrees on it, unfortunately. So, many definitions include terms such as 21st century knowledge, 21st century skills. They don't always say 21st century learning. So, many of the framework principles reference the fact that between the 20th and the 21st century, we've moved from an industrial and manufacturing society to one that has an emphasis on information and knowledge services. So that's kind of where this shift is coming from. So, in a historical sense, it kind of gets into the fact that the change in society needs new skills that were not traditionally taught in schools in the past. So here we have some definitions of 21st century learning. To cope with the demands of the 21st century, people need to know more than core subjects. They need to know how to use their knowledge and skills, thinking critically, applying knowledge to new situations, analyzing information, comprehending new ideas, communicating, collaborating, solving problems, making decisions, etc. Somebody else had said that 21st century learning is typically used to describe the types of competencies needed to thrive in today's complex and interconnected global landscape. There's an emphasis on what students can do with their knowledge rather than what units of knowledge they have. The learning paradigm of the 21st century leads to the development of students' competence, such as critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creative thinking, and innovation. And we have the case for 21st century learning goes deeper than this and is more abstract. It is about how knowledge is generated and applied, about shifts in ways of doing business, of managing the workplace, or linking producers and consumers, and becoming quite a different student from the kind that dominated the 20th century. So, as you can see, it's not really clear, to be honest, what the definition of 21st century learning truly is. And that's what I think, at least, has made it kind of difficult to really figure things out. So, going here, there are kind of some agreed upon aspects of 21st century learning because nobody agrees on a true definition, which is fine. But there's a bunch of different aspects such as digital competence, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and really flexible thinking as well. Problem solving, a global world was a really big thing that came up because we're now much more interconnected than we ever have been before. And creativity. So when I was doing some research, I found a review and synthesis of what 21st century learning is by Punya Mishra and Kristen Karaluk. So they did a literature review on 10 different articles. And they kind of went through, all the articles are listed down here. They kind of came up with three main overarching categories of ideas within the articles. So I thought it was really important to include this since they're leading researchers in the field and they have, this is just more of what they used in their analysis. But I thought it was important to show you that this is what they came up with. So they said that the three really big categories were foundational knowledge, meta-knowledge, and humanistic knowledge. And that you can see how many things it gets into. Foundational knowledge is core content knowledge, information literacy, cross-disciplinary knowledge. We've got problem solving, communication, collaboration, creativity, all that goes into one. And then life and job skills, cultural competence, and ethical and emotional awareness. And down here, it's just in the blue, it lists all of the different things that they came across in their research of synthesizing that related to each category. So that's what they made. But in an attempt to be a little bit more, simplified, I came up with this. So for me, 21st century learning, after looking at what they had come up with in their review and looking at tons of other sources too, I said that really the three main categories here are academic and digital knowledge, social knowledge, and global knowledge. So the academic and digital knowledge includes the academic knowledge and content knowledge that we teach every single day in schools, digital knowledge of working with technologies, and working with those simultaneously. So that also gets into TPAC. So going back and forth in between all this academic knowledge and digital knowledge, we've got our content knowledge or pedagogical knowledge, and now the technology, and all of those are working together. So that kind of first branch there, if you will, is where I really found a connection to TPAC. I also said that social knowledge and global knowledge were big parts or big things that I found when I was doing my research. So social knowledge includes the abilities to think flexibly, solve problems creatively, and have effective communication and collaboration skills because we have to know how to work well with others. In global knowledge, I said that just being aware of cultural, ethical, and emotional differences is going to be extremely important because we're in this global world. So how I use 21st century learning right now in the classroom is that in my math curriculum, we use everyday mathematics, and there's a huge emphasis on strategy instruction and explaining your thinking. That gets into academic knowledge and social knowledge, and then most of what we use has technological components, so that gets into our digital knowledge. I have students grouped in table groups, which works on their social skills. Again, they have to be able to work well with others. And then our curriculum, and just by my choice, a lot of it spends time learning about other cultures through interactive read alouds in our social studies curriculum. So we learn about holidays, and we do a whole study on kind of fables and folk tales and different traditional tales from different cultures. And that can all lead into global knowledge. Those are things that I already do. Things that I want to do is teach my students to take more ownership of their writing for that academic knowledge and kind of have them present it and really be writing for an audience because that'll also work on their social knowledge. I want to make sure that they're given opportunities to solve problems and improve social knowledge skills. I want to allow my students to utilize more technology and increase their digital competence because in first and second grade, it's very hard sometimes to just let them go with technology. And I want to continue to teach my students about other cultures and just help their global knowledge. And then the last thing that I have here is critiques of 21st century learning. So Kara-Luke and some other researchers said in their writing that given the rapid pace of technological change, it seems short-sighted to base the education of the entire 21st century on the tools available today. I totally and completely agree with that. I'm unfortunately not, or maybe fortunately, I guess, I can't see into the future. I don't have a glass ball to be able to say what my kids are going to need. There are jobs that aren't even created yet that we're supposed to be preparing kids for, and that's a really, really tough job. And then also, I kind of got into thinking about when Winner had said a few weeks ago in the article that we read that some technologies reward some while punishing others. And I really see that like with privilege with kids because some kids are going to go to school and they're going to have all these opportunities to use technology and to learn about it. But then there's going to be other children that aren't. So we're setting up a cycle of privilege and we're rewarding those kids who have the opportunities when not everybody's going to have them. And it's just not realistic to say that everybody is starting off in the same foot here. So it's just hard for me that if we're pushing for a 21st century learning model, just what happens to the kids who don't get the digital part of this model, who don't have that given to them? And also, I mean, do we just leave them behind knowing that they're going to be at a disadvantage? How do we work that out? So those are just some of my critiques. Thank you for listening.